Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Tonight's movie, In Darkness, right? Okay, so a blind musician hears a murder upstairs in her apartment, and she starts to investigate, and it sends her down a dark path in the London's underworld or something like that. I don't know. It kept popping up, and I thought I'd check it out. It stars Natalie Dormer. Evidently she's from Game of Thrones. Just kidding, of course. And then I still don't know how to say her name. And Emily Ratajkowski. I know her from Entourage. And then Ed Skrein. I'm not sure I know him. Let me see. He's in Deadpool. He's Ajax in Deadpool. So I don't know. We'll check it out. 5.7 on IMDb. But I've read some of the reviews. A lot of the reviews really love it. So a lot of it really hate it. That's what happens with these movies. So at least a 5.7. So we'll see what happens. I'll take a little gander at it and let you know a little better summary than what I just read to you and what I'm thinking. So stick around. Hopefully it's good. I don't know. Hey everybody. I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching In Darkness. We're at the 56-minute and 29-second mark. It's an hour and 41-minute long movie. And to break it down for you, so Natalie Dormer, she plays Sophia, and she's the blind person, and Emily, I'm not even going to attempt it again, is her neighbor in a sense. So they live in the same apartment building, and she lives upstairs. And they kind of meet, they know each other, they're not friends, they're just acquaintances, and Emily's character gets murdered, gets thrown off the balcony. They're calling it a suicide, and evidently she had a USB thing that has a lot of information on it. Her father, you come to find out, was some war criminal that has kind of gotten off of the crimes or something like that, and so he's still very well hated, but he lives in London as well. And in fact, when the two of them meet, Sophia and Emily's character, she asks her to play. She's a pianist, and she wants her to play at her dad's charity event, whatever. So she ends up being murdered, but we're not sure why yet. She has a USB. She slips it into Sophia's pocket, so she has it now. Meanwhile, there's another woman, and what did his name was? Ed Skrein, who's also in Tau, T-A-U, the movie I reviewed previously. I don't know if I released it yet or not, but check that out. But that's what he's in. And so I don't know. It's kind of slow moving for me. So they're trying to get the USB thing back from this blind girl who knows what's on it right now. Meanwhile, they're trying to figure out also why she died. Was she really murdered, or was it a suicide? Although we kind of know it wasn't a suicide. She was murdered, but we don't know why. So it's really slow moving at this point. I couldn't believe it's already 56 minutes into the movie. I thought it was going to be a little bit more in the, I don't know. I'm going to keep watching it here a little bit. It's hard to explain any more than that, but I think that's enough to, keep you interested maybe. Hopefully it's going to get better. Some of the reviews that I read said it's like complicated and stuff like that. Just so far, not complicated at all. There is some flashbacks. I believe that Sophia, who plays the blind woman, or that's the character's name, had some, or Natalie Dormer plays Sophia. Sophia's the character's name. Natalie Dormer is the actor's name. Sorry. She has some connection with Emily, the girl who was murdered's father. So I think he has done something to her family, and there's a revenge plot going on as well. They're kind of leaking that out a little bit at this point. But I don't want to give you too much detail because you got to figure it out on your own. But again, very slow moving so far, considering we're this far into the movie. But I'll get back to it. I'll probably see you at the credits, and hopefully have more information for you that'll entice you maybe to watch this movie or convince you not to. So stick around. Hey everybody, Read the credits in darkness. Actually, I let the credits roll all the way through. Went back and read some of the reviews, and that's something I don't normally do before I watch the film, is I read reviews. But I read some of the reviews. Again, half loved them, half hated them, and you know, I don't know. I think a lot of people like Natalie Dormer because of whatever, Game of Thrones, and maybe that's why I didn't watch it. And one thing that I thought she did well was she played a blind person, and I think that's probably really hard to do. And I think she did a phenomenal job doing that. But that was the only redeeming quality of the entire movie. They try this major plot twist at the end, which could have been good, but it seems like they threw that in at the end and didn't account for everything else that happens throughout the film. It creates a lot of different holes when you find out what happened. So a lot of it is not explained. I mean, not that it's like crazy, but I mentioned in the first thing that there is some kind of revenge plot with her, Natalie Dormer's character, who plays the blind girl, and the girl who lives upstairs, and they have not with her, but with her father. But it's not developed enough. I mean, the revenge plot is, but what the girl Emily Ratajkowski's, you know, her character was meaningless, essentially. After all this, I thought it was going to have a big, deeper meaning. That wasn't there. The whole thing that was going on, the revenge type of thing, this was okay. You understand why, and when you listen to it, why? I mean, you're just disgusted. The conversation that happens at one point where it reveals why maybe she has a revenge twist is the guy is very twisted. This war criminal. Terrible to hear that story, and you get it, but then how they played it out, and then the twist just doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's hard for me to explain if you're actually going to watch this. You know, I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't know. I don't think it's worth watching. I'm going to give it a 5. I'm not disappointed in it. It's nothing like you haven't seen before, and they could have done a lot better by using an old theme, but I don't think it's worth watching. I can't go in any more detail, but that's it. Actually, I will go into more detail, but at this point, if you haven't watched the film yet and you don't want to hear about spoilers, go ahead and turn me off. And thank you for tuning in, Kimmel's Irish Pub. Alright, if you stuck around and you want to hear a little bit more detail about this movie, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, I want to say, you know, it's silly. So she's blind. Her whole thing is she's trying to get revenge on somebody that really did terrible things to her family, including her sister. And she plots her whole revenge, but she plots it as though she's blind, as we know, because you're watching it or you just want to find out more. And she does this whole thing. So she does it for 24 years, pretending she's blind, so she can get close to this guy. And then she finally gets close to him. And in the end, they're fighting. Like, he comes to kill her. She's still pretending to be blind. Like, okay, the gig is up. Like, now's your chance to kill him. And she doesn't. So, I mean, there's maybe a little controversy there. Like, did she become unblind when they were fighting? But when they start doing flashbacks, it kind of shows that she had sight the whole time. She had sight the whole time. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that's maybe what they were doing. I'm saying maybe she was blind and then she banged her head and she had sight again. But I don't know. They don't do a good job of explaining all of that. So that's why I dislike the film. You know, they should have done a better job. Did she become unblind, or did she have sight the entire time, and this was her master plan and how she did it? And what did Emily Ratajkowski have to do with anything except for, I guess, she had the thumb drive that gave information, which again mean nothing. It meant nothing. I mean, the whole idea was for her to get revenge for her family, and nothing to do with the entire, you know, thing. I don't know. Ugh. But I'm glad I could talk about it with you. If you watch this far, I appreciate it. Stay away from this film. There's nothing worth. I mean, maybe you like her, Natalie Dormer. I don't know her. I don't really watch Game of Thrones. And you might like her. And she does a great job of acting as a blind person. So if you're interested in seeing that, watch this movie. Otherwise, stay away. It's not worth your hour and 49 minutes. So hopefully I saved you some time. Pick a different movie. And watch one of my other reviews, and you might find a movie in there that you might like. Well, self-promoting there. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.